From Ugly Parrot Studios in Newcastle, California, the Cigar Cartel presents Beyond the Humidor, a cigar podcast for the rest of us. Welcome back. Scott Robinson with you for another episode of Beyond the Humidor. It felt kind of rushed this morning, but all good. We made it in time. We've got our guest, and we're all set to go. So let me just really quick go around the table before we introduce our guest. Hey, Greg, how you doing today?
Doing great. Great cigar. Really excited for our guest to join us today. Been looking forward to this for a while, and it's the first interview of the new year for us, so great.
Okay, real quick, what are you smoking?
I've got the Partagas Natural. It's a Dominican Partagas, not a Cuban. For expedience sake, we can talk about this at the end of what it is, but it's a really good stick. It's one of my go-tos.
Okay, right on. I'm going to be a little different. I'm going to go over to Gorilla. Hey, Gorilla, how's it going? Busy on
I'm
the
almost
board?
knocking everything over trying to not... There we go. Hi, Gorilla's here.
Okay, so see, you should have came with us to breakfast. You need coffee. Coffee's good.
He doesn't drink coffee.
Oh, well, Dr. Pepper. It has caffeine in it.
This is true.
See? So there. Hey, Lawrence, how you doing there?
I'm hanging in there, man. Getting things started. Good breakfast. Also looking forward to this interview. We've watched quite a bit of short clips on these guys, and it's entertaining to say the least.
Yeah.
Right on. What are you smoking real quick there?
I've got the house stick that we picked up at Stogies of Lodi the other night. It's rolled for them by Sinestro. So other than that, I know nothing about it. Other than it's got a little Sinestro label on it. And, I'm going to give it a shot. Looks like it's a Maduro of some type, but not a lot of power starting out, but good flavor. So I'm happy.
Yeah, I'm smoking a Yellowstone from Stogies.
Oh, okay.
Big Sky Cigar
Big
Company.
Sky Cigar Company. Yeah, pretty good. I want to reach out to these cats. And I don't know, forgive me, I don't know much about this one. It's something I grabbed on. Whose recommendation was that? Yours?
Mine.
Yours. Okay.
And Cameron Gorilla.
Okay. Yeah, a Gorilla. Thank you, Gorilla. Thank you, Greg. See, I'm being nice to Greg this week.
It won't last.
Just because there's a guest here, don't freaking be nice on his account.
Like that stopped me.
Speaking of guests, Mr. Robinson.
Absolutely. Speaking of guests, so we caught this cat, I think individually. You caught him. Your son turned you on to him. Your oldest.
No, my youngest,
Oh,
actually,
youngest, okay.
yeah. Pat told me he's coming through the house one day, on his phone like normal, and he goes, "Hey, I think I found your spirit animal." I'm like, "Excuse me?" And he shows me this clip, man, and it's this kid walking around with a phone asking his dad questions, and his dad's like pissed off about it, and I'm all, "Oh, God, this is great." It's like looking in the mirror.
Yeah, I found it on accident. I was going through Reels, Facebook Reels, which is really addictive, and I ran into, this kid goes, "You ever wonder what a Gen X thinks?" My ears perked up and said, "Oh, this should be good." Ask his old man, and the perfect reaction to like your kid putting a camera in your freaking face saying, "Hey, what do you think of the state?" "Man, what are you bothering me for? Leave me alone. There's a reason I hide out in the garage." Every man has a hideout. My stepdad, it's his quote-unquote shack and lab, and he hides out there, listens to his jazz records, and goes over formulas.
Yeah. I don't want to know.
No, I don't either.
Cosmetics. He worked for Max Factor, okay?
Oh, okay.
Should have probably started with
Should have led with that. Thinking it's Breaking Bad at the Robinson house.
Jesus H. Christ. Okay, let me just...
So
get to
anyway.
this. Anyway, without further ado, I want to introduce the General, the dad from Gen X Talks. General, how you doing this morning?
I don't even know if I can compete with you three. You guys are really on point this morning. I mean, and where did you get that set? I gotta know. I mean, you guys put me in the green room for 10 minutes, and I'm looking behind you. Those doors look like you're in some warehouse from the 1930s that used to store ice cream. I can't tell what the sign is behind you. But did you guys steal a used car sign from a used car lot? Because that's what the numbers look like. It looks like that sign may say Bob's Used Cars. And I got to tell you, I'm not sure why there's a fire extinguisher in the corner, but now I'm excited to be part of this.
I think it's better if we just leave it there and not tell them where we are. I don't think it gets better.
And you're giving me shit because my stepdad has a lab.
So it's funny. You're pretty close, man. This building was built in 1936. It was originally the Placer Farm and Implement Company. It was the Ford tractor dealer for Placer County. So
I told you I'm a keen observer of human nature, man. I'm picking things apart as we go.
I love this guy.
So we have our backs to the door that actually slides instead of goes up and down. And this is where we were relegated to when our lounge du jour is in the middle of a massive remodel that was supposed to take a week, and we're on week, what, 4? 4 now.
5.
Yeah, 5. I mean, I'm sure this is a question you get asked a lot, and it's probably an obvious question, but this really started by your son wandering around with his phone trying to be funny, right?
Yeah, what he wanted to do was, I guess when TikTok first came out, and I don't know when, 2018 or so, he wanted to be TikTok famous. He used to say, I want to be TikTok famous like all my friends. And I remember asking him, I said, what's TikTok, first of all? And how many of your friends are actually famous? And he goes, well, none of them, but I want to be famous like the kids on TikTok. I said, I don't give a shit. Knock yourself out. Do what you want. So he tries for 6 months. He's filming these stupid videos. The one I know I have it saved someplace on one of my phones or devices. He gets a video that has 2,000 views, 2,400 views, and he thinks he's hit the big time. And he's got the phone in his mouth, pointed straight up in the air with the camera pointed out, and he's doing this in front of the mirror in the bathroom to some stupid music with his shirt off. I go, that's what TikTok is. If that's what TikTok is, you need to reconsider your life goals. Stop doing this shit.
Go to school.
So he got 2,400 views. He went for 6 months, and he finally comes. He goes, I can't do it. I can't get famous. I said, what are you trying to do? What is TikTok? And he explains it's like Vine. It's like it's a short, small video, and you do this. And I said, well, you need to, whatever it is, it sounds like you need to find a niche. You're not a hot chick that can pop out her boobs, so you're going to have to find something that's funny, and you're going to have to find a niche. So he tries forever, and I just gave fatherly advice, and as far as I was concerned, I was done. That's my job. Give you advice, steer you in a direction, and shove you down the road away from me. And so he comes up with this idea, and he says, hey, I want you to help me with TikTok. I said, no. He said, no, I need you to sit on a chair so I can interview you. I said, no. He said, I want to put a light over your head like I'm interviewing you, and you can be the grumpy old man. I said, no. And that was it. So he goes into his mother, and he's whining and complaining to her. And of course, she's like, oh, sweetie, it's okay. Your father's an asshole. You're wonderful. He's a jerk. You're nice. And so she says, if you really want to do this, if you really want to ask him a question, he's not going to sit and be interviewed. But if you can catch him working where he's not fully concentrating, like don't fuck with me when I'm rebuilding a carburetor, but if I'm just in the garage doing my thing, and she goes, just kind of catch him over the shoulder and ask him a question. He already knows you're trying to film him. He knows you're going to have a camera. Just see if you can do that. So it was actually his first attempt. I'm gonna try to get this right. He came up in the garage, and I knew he had the camera, and I glanced at the camera, I looked at him, and I just go, all right, what do you want? And he said, I want your opinion on, what was the first thing he said? Electric cars. And I said, yeah, electric cars are genius because all of the coal and natural gas that we have to burn to make the electricity, that's clever for the environment, isn't it? You bunch of idiots and your goddamn Teslas. And then he goes, what about Common Core math? And I go, Common Core math is 2 + 2 is green. And how do we all feel about it? There's your Common Core math. There was a third one too. I think it was self-driving cars. And I said, if I ever in my life, as Generation X, see a self-driving car on the road, I'm going to put it into the fucking wall on turn 4. And then I'm going to get out of my truck, and I'm going to wait for the cops to arrive. And I'm going to say, you're welcome. Now get me another pickup truck, and I'll find the next motherfucking car, and I'll take that one out too. Don't worry. I got this part of the country handled. You guys take care of your stuff. Anything in my neighborhood, they're going down. I will assume that Skynet has taken over, and it's Terminator 2 time, and I'm on it. I'm there. Just get me another pickup truck. that was my answer to his 3 questions. And then that turned out to be a huge video. And then it's always been a fight since then. How do I get Dad to respond where he's not so angry that, because he films 5 and 6 of these things and can't even use them. They're not legible. I'm not clever. I'm not witty. You know, he comes at me with stuff. So he's kind of learned to, if let's say I'm in a discussion with someone, he hears me discussing stuff with a friend, neighbor online, or someone in my house, in my backyard. And let's say I just got done talking about the moon landing. Then he waits half an hour and he walks up. He goes, "So, Dad, what do you think about the moon landing?" I'm like, "Oh, how clever of you. You know, I just got done talking about this. It's still fresh in my mind. And I can narrow it down to like one point that I want to say." So he does some of that. The rest of it, he has to come up with stuff. He has to come up with an idea and a question that he knows I can answer, that he can edit down to 60 seconds, because that's his time frame, I guess, on most of his platforms. So that's how it started, and that's kind of where it's developed to. Now everybody calls them ambush videos, and that's the nickname of those shorts or those reels, or ambush videos.
Huh. Well, you guys,
I hope that answers your question correctly.
Oh, it does. You guys definitely found a niche. I mean, it's just, I'm looking for him at a point, when I first started looking at him, it's like, oh man, this is funny. I need more of this. And I'm going through them and I'm like, oh yeah, this is great. It just totally codifies millennials and Gen X, because, I have kids too. I have 2 daughters. So it's a tiny bit different when your daughters come up with those big eyes and go blink, blink. And it's like, I can't be mad at you.
We had a couple of videos where his sister did it. One of his sisters came up, and the comment section was hundreds and hundreds of comments, and they weren't about the topic. Every one of them was, "Oh, look how nice he is to the daughter. Oh, he loves the daughter. So much different with the daughter." They caught on to that right away. Same as you. Yeah. Same as you.
Oh yeah.
Well, we got a different parenting style for each kid.
Well, yeah.
It's
Well, we've talked about that. My wife and I, we do an audio podcast once a week, and we've talked about parenting, and we say very clearly we parent every kid differently. We think of every kid differently. We have as Generation X, you have some broad strokes and some structure for the house. Everyone's going to finish your dinner. Everyone's going to do your schoolwork. Everyone's going to do your chores. But past the broad strokes, the framework of a Generation X house, you have to tailor your parenting individually to each kid. And I've told him, I've sat them all down. This last group of 8 that we raised, my wife and I raised 8 kids, 4 boys and 4 girls. And we've said, a few of you are real assholes. And it's really difficult to parent you. A couple of you are wonderful. It is a pure blessing to be your parents. So when we parent you differently, don't be upset. You did this. If you acted the same, we'd parent the same, but you don't. So you get what you get.
Why is Greg eye fucking me?
I'm assuming this was Pat.
What, that turned me on to this guy?
Yes.
Oh, 100%.
Pat is absolutely right. The general is your spirit animal.
Yeah. No, man, this is like, I close my eyes. It's like hearing me in my sleep. It's amazing.
Because these are stories, it's comments and stories that we've heard at the lounge.
Well, yeah.
It's not a midlife crisis that I'm having, but I'm having some sort of crisis over here.
That's my 28-year-old. That's my oldest.
Processing.
So.
I couldn't sit there with my 30-year-old in the same room. We'd butt heads in about the first 8 seconds. If we haven't seen each other in a long time and we greet each other, we argue about the handshake we just gave each other. It's just, we start with that. It's like that very second. It's like, I'll shake his hand, say, "Hey, son, haven't seen you in a while." And he'll look at me and go, while he's still shaking my hand, he goes, "You're getting kind of weak in your old age." God, and there we go. God damn it. You just got to start that shit right now, don't you?
Yeah, I don't have time for that. Like, it's not worth the energy, and also I live in the same house as him, so I've given up.
Well, I'm going to blame you for that. Move out. Yeah, we'll start with that.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
That's just off the top of my head.
Do that.
Yeah, we're putting a tent down in the pasture and get him a little farther from the house.
Good luck.
Yeah.
As soon as you do that, change the locks.
Yeah.
We live in the middle of the country. We haven't locked a door since 2006.
Yeah. When we bought the house, it didn't come with keys. No joke, man. We didn't have a key to the front door until a year and a half ago when we did the remodel.
What the fuck?
Dude, I'm so far out that if you get to my house, I might as well have the door unlocked, because if you decide you want something, you're going to kick it in. Nobody's going to hear you anyway.
True.
So, yeah, now half my shit's missing, but I can still close my door. There's not a coyote coming in tonight while I'm sleeping, waiting for the fucking State Farm adjuster to call me back.
You all right, buddy?
What? What are you laughing at? That I have insurance? Fuck you.
See, I like living in the new suburb that I'm in, and I especially like the block I'm on, because when we first moved in, we were hearing stories on the other side of the neighborhood that, people were breaking into houses. But of course, on my block, just, nice long suburban block. Let's see. One has a U.S. Marine Corps flag, a Blue Lives Matter flag, a few American flags. What does that tell a burglar? More than likely, these are houses where guns live.
Yeah.
We're
you're gonna get
armed.
shot.
Leave us the fuck alone.
And if you don't have any of those flags, all you got to have is a flag that says, I'm with them.
I fucking love this guy.
My neighbor shoots better than I do. Whatever.
My neighbor's a retired sniper. Good luck.
Yep.
If you heard the warning shot I missed.
I've set my scotch down now. The second shot will be closer. Oh, God. So how long's he been doing this gig now?
Well, actually, today, the 29th, is the 2-year anniversary of the very first video that he posted. So I did a live stream last night. See, unlike you, I have to actually do my stuff live. I can't fuck up and edit it. We do a live show, so I got stuck with that
This guy
last
just
night.
clown us?
Very bold. Very bold of you to think we edit, sir.
That's what we have a gorilla for.
I was about to say, yeah, they don't edit.
Yeah.
They're sitting over there smiling. I'm already looking at this like, I think I can think of
They're
7 things I
so
have
far
to do.
above me in this world. They have people. I don't have people. I got to sit. I'm trying to use a pencil and eraser on my monitor, trying to figure out how to get rid of shit. So you have people. I figured editing was part of the people process.
It is.
It's
So we
less,
did a 2-year
it's less of a
anniversary thing
people.
yesterday. That was our show last night.
Awesome.
Right on.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, looking around at your stuff between the website and, the reels, the podcast, all the stuff you got going, it seems like he's made a hell of a run of this in 2 years, man.
He has, I've told him since the beginning, I said, listen, there's a Generation X term called live your 15 minutes of fame. And he didn't understand what that meant. I said, whatever you're doing right now, I want to promise you something. It's not going to last. And I don't know whether it'll last a few months or a couple years, but I told him, I said, this is just for fun. This is a hobby. And you can do it all you want, but you need to plan your future, and you need to realize that someday you're going to lay this thing down and it's over. So think of it that way, which he completely ignored, didn't take one iota of advice from me, and all he's done is continually since day one try to spread Gen X Talks out like an infection, and he's pulled back. Some things work, some things didn't, but he keeps pushing forward. He doesn't want to give this up. He wants me to be doing this when I'm 75. He's like, as long as you can sit in a chair and answer a question, I'm going to film you. That's his theory on it. Plus, we always thought we'd run out of stuff to say. I mean, how many times can you say you're an idiot kid without doubling up? And I got to say, he's got 250 or 260, whatever they are, videos, and none of them are the same. Yeah. There's always a new topic, a new angle. It's pretty impressive where he's taken it, but I've always pulled him back, reined him in a little bit, and just said, be cautious. This doesn't last forever. But he just nods his head and waits for me to get done talking, and then he just takes off again.
Yeah, they're pretty good at that, aren't they? Yeah.
Not listening. Not at all.
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, see, we have the argument all the time, because based on when I was born, if you listen to the millennial generation, I'm a millennial. If you listen to the older generation, which is what I prefer to do, I'm Gen X.
No, you're not.
What
Shut
year
the
were
hell
you
up.
born?
82.
Okay, you're definitely not Generation X. However, you are what I actually came up with this term, and then I found out that was already a term. And I was like, shit, I was really going to take credit for that. But if you're a millennial, but if you take off the MIL, the first, and you replace it with an X, you're a Zennial with an X.
I'm good with it.
Because you're so much like Gen X, you were raised and thinking and living so much like Generation X that even though you were born just across that line in the sand, you're a Zennial. And that really goes for the first 4 or 5 years for sure of millennials. They are very much like Generation X. It's the latter half. You'll often hear me say something on a live stream or a podcast. I'll talk about late millennials. I don't just say the term millennials anymore because there definitely is a cutoff somewhere in the middle where there's ones that are just behave like Generation X, and there's the whole group that behaves like a bunch of freaking moron idiots like Generation Z. They're all grouped together. They're Zennials with a Z. That's how close they are.
Yeah.
So it would appear you're right on that other side. You're right. But I always say the same thing. I say, look, you may have been born in 82. But if you feel Gen X, you talk Gen X, you think Gen X, pick up all your stuff, gather up all your gear, walk over across that line. We'll welcome you. You know, you come right over and stand here with us.
Thank you. I appreciate that because I look at in my line of work dealing with late Gen X as you or late millennials as you term, and then Gen Z. It's like, fuck.
Yeah.
I cannot deal with these people. And it's just like, nope, I'm more happy. Even as a younger kid, I was more happy with my parents' age people than my own because they're not idiots.
It's because he had their hairdo at like 14.
No.
Well, he was trying to fit in.
21.
Conformity. He's conformity, you know.
Unlike you that kept your hair, jackass, I started losing mine at 21.
Just keep combing it forward, man. You'll be fine.
I do not do the Trump, thank you.
I think you'd look good with that comb-over swirl from the 1940s. I think that would fit you really well.
He's got 27 hairs, and they're combed in a circle around his head.
Evenly spaced.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like paint by numbers, just a hair version. So it's like comb by numbers.
Yeah.
General, I think every guy our age had a high school teacher with that hairdo.
Absolutely.
You know,
I did.
If you see him going down the road after school and the window's down, there's hair blowing like 3 feet out the driver's window.
Yeah. Yep, that's like every high school or junior high or high school. You had one teacher with that one big unibrow, just one eyebrow that went all the way across like a Muppet.
Yeah,
and you spend the whole time
Ernie
in class
brow.
just staring at his face, going, "Oh my God, I can't believe that's real." You got the world's biggest caterpillar on your face. They thought we were paying attention. No, I have no idea what you were saying. I'm just watching that unibrow move up and down. That was
Watching
me.
train
Well, I don't know,
wreck.
maybe I'm wrong. His name was Mr. Navrides. I'll tell you. That's how much I know. I know his name still.
Wow.
Hey, it made an impression, huh?
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, we all had
Now, maybe
one of
I'm
those
the
guys,
only
man.
one like that.
Mine was Mr. Myroff. He had both. He had the swirl 27 hairs and the Bert and Ernie brow. He had quite the accessory kit there.
And you know what's really weird about those dudes? Like you said, you see that you bump into them in public for some reason, and they're always with some 30-year-old hot wife. How the hell does that even happen? They always get those chicks, and you're like, no fucking way.
He's got a pension.
Yeah.
I need a man with benefits.
Yeah. Yeah, that was back. Hey, that was back when PERS retirement was good and the schools paid for your health care the rest of your life. You know.
My God, I guess, yeah.
God, I don't want to.
We just ruined Scott's day.
You pretty much did. Now you just reminded me.
Oh,
Okay,
suck it up, Buttercup.
Yeah,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ.
Now, I'm not getting on your engineer, okay, because I know he's related to you, so I'm not going to pick on the guy behind the microphones over there. But
Why not? We do.
well, because I'm not sure who to blame here, and I'm trying. It's a sensitive question I need to ask you guys, and I'm trying to word it correctly, where I don't come across like a complete asshole, and that's hard for me. It's hard for me to do that.
Wait. You want just don't. No one
Power
else does on
through.
this show.
Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah, power through. You can do it.
Okay, I can barely hear Scott. Now, I don't know if that's an engineering flaw or if that's like a racial thing. You know, I just don't know. I was just
Let's try
asking.
this.
I love you guys, but I didn't know how to ask that.
Yeah, we're trying to keep the black man down.
That's what I'm asking. I'm saying, is this on purpose? Are you guys doing this on purpose? Because I'm a little upset.
You're hiding it well.
All right, how do I sound now?
Better. Now
There
I can
we
hear
go.
you, yeah.
There we go.
Oh, okay. That
Well,
was
sometimes
good.
you got to be cautious, you
You know,
know.
is this an engineering issue?
Well,
Or is this,
what am I supposed to do? Lean in and go, hey, how come I can't hear the black guy? That sounds a little forward. I'm trying to have a little tact.
Stop trying. That'll help right off.
Oh, I love it.
The scotch is taking his voice away. That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, by the way, my McAllen stock tanked. Thank you very much.
What are you whining about?
Drink more.
Bitch, please, like you have any stock. Jesus.
Oh, for God's sakes. Oh.
So well, I want to circle back on something.
Yeah.
8 kids, man.
I have raised, through my illustrious career as being a parent, off and on over my tenure, I've raised 32 children. This last batch was 8. It was 4 boys and 4 girls. And I think our oldest is 30 now. And our youngest is the kid, Gen Z kid, and he's 17. And so, yeah, that was challenging. And I would love to sit here and take credit for it. In fact, I've worked out some very good lies over the years on how I parented, how I successfully parented 8 children. It's not very easy, you know, running a small business and parenting 8 children. But the truth is I didn't do shit. I left for work all day. My wife did everything. 8 breakfast, 8 lunches, 8 backpacks when they came home from school, 8 chore list, a small dinner party every night for all of us. I'd come home and I'd kick in the door and go, okay, whatever you were doing, knock it off and shut the fuck up. I'm home. And that was my parenting. When I got home, you changed how you behaved, and then we all got along famously. I didn't have to do shit. She did it all. The most I ever had to do was she'd walk in and go, hey, that one over there, yeah, go kick the shit out of him. He's not doing well, all right? And I'd walk in the room and go, I don't even know what you did, but Mom told me to beat the shit out of you, so I'm doing it. And then I'd leave. I was the hammer. And so I didn't have none of the responsibility of how that happened was on me at all.
Seems reasonable.
All
Yeah.
right.
Well, I didn't know any other way. That's the way. I didn't got time to actually physically raise 8 of you. I mean, when there's 8 of you and there's only 2 parents, you can't run a man-to-man defense. You're running a zone all day.
Yeah. No,
you know?
it's you're free ranging a lot. Yeah.
Quite a bit. And it's all how you explain things to kids. I've learned if you can explain it in such a clever, witty, or convoluted way that makes them look at you and think, they leave and they got to think about that. It stops the argument. Okay. It corrects whatever they're doing wrong, and it makes them think, and they're gone. And there was one, my wife came in, because when we have 8 kids and you don't have a big house, every bedroom had 2 kids. They always had to share. Now, we moved them around a little bit to try to figure out who would fit with who, but it was always a constant argument. Why do I have to share a room with them? Why do I have to share a room with them? Well, I don't know, because we're poor and we can't afford a mansion, you assholes. That's one. But the second thing was that I never heard that discussion again. When they were like 7, 8, 9 years old, my wife came in one time. She was arguing with our daughters, and she goes, listen, I don't want to hear this anymore. I got to share a room with Dad. We all have to share a room. Now go. And they walked away going, oh my God, she's right. She has to share a room too. And Dad's an asshole. It wasn't until they were teenagers, late teenagers, and came back and said, that was a bullshit thing to say. You were married. You wanted it. You can't, but it shut them up for years. It's all in the cleverness of it. I tell you.
Yeah, it's all perspective, man. You know,
Yeah.
you roll out what you can. I got 3 boys, and all 3 of them are night and day different from each other.
Yeah.
Night and day different, you know, and it's just like, what the hell? The youngest one, I tell the story once in a while. I don't even remember I was busting his chops about something, and he and I are getting ready to go someplace, and we're in my shop van. We're going down the driveway. I have a super steep driveway, and I mouthed off something to him. 8 years old, he looks at me, and he's got that real, interested look, and he goes, some of your ideas concern me. I'm fucking 8 years old, right? I'm like, man, shut the fuck up.
He was very diplomatic about it, though, wasn't he?
Yeah, that shit's gone out the window since. He's 22. He just spits out whatever he's thinking.
Oh, that's funny.
It's like,
Yeah.
Well, I can see not much changed. I think the guys sitting next to you feel the same way. They just don't say it.
yeah.
I don't have
No.
children, fortunate for me.
I had
Fortunate for the world. Don't bullshit us.
That's true.
See, I had the opposite problem with my two girls when they were little. So we get finally our nice house, 4 bedrooms. They each have a bedroom now. So we gave them separate bedrooms. Within 2 weeks, the kids are coming up to me asking me, "Can you move my bed into Debbie's room?" And I'm like,
Wow.
"Huh?" It's like, yeah, because they wound up sleeping together, and it was just like, well, okay. So then the other room became like a toy room or something, and I'm just sitting there looking, going, you know, the money I could have saved just getting like a 2 or 3 bedroom. And I get
That's
this.
funny, but that makes sense, though. Yeah, just the stuff you did. As a parent, you think you've achieved, you know, like, okay,
Yeah.
I got this house for you. And they basically are saying, yeah, we don't want it.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever, Dad.
That's funny.
Yeah, my oldest was funny, though. When she was a little girl, I, of course, was the hammer in the house. I remember one time I come home from work, my ex-wife, she comes up to me and says, "You need to deal with Debbie." I'm like, "What's the problem?" She tells me what she did. I said, "Well, what did you do?" She told me what she did. And she's like, "She's waiting for you in the bedroom." And I could hear like this crying getting louder and louder as, you know, she's listening to her mom and I talk. And I was like, okay, I'll take care of it. Put my briefcase down. I go into the bedroom, and then the crying gets louder. Because she's like, I'm doomed. I'm getting the chair. You know, I'm not getting the benefit of a priest to say, do you have anything, last words or anything? So she's sitting there crying. I sit next to her. And here goes parenting styles again. If it was a boy, it might have been different. I sit next to her, and I just look at her like a bartender and go, "Rough day, huh?" She's looking at me like, stops crying. It's like, huh? I said, "So tell me what you do." So she's like, I said, "Calm down. Just tell me what you did." And she tells me, and I said, "Okay, what did your mom do?" "Okay, all right." So she disciplined you. I said, "Okay. Well, are you going to do it again?" "No." And I looked at her and said, "Well, as far as I'm concerned, the matter's finished. Go out and play." Walked out of the room, and she's sitting here like, huh? What just happened?
It's called a stay of execution, folks.
Pretty much,
Well,
yeah.
I think as he walked out of the room, if his wife would have been mad, he could have said, "You've already punished her. Haven't you ever heard of double jeopardy?"
Exactly. That's what I told her. I'm just like, you already took care of it. There's nothing for me to do. I'm not going to come home and beat her again or something.
No, well, raising boys and girls is completely different.
Yes.
You know, when my boys did something wrong, you take them out, you knock their dick in the dirt, you say, "Okay, don't do that again," and you're done. And you
Yeah.
can do that from age 4 to age 18. You just change how hard you knock their dick in the dirt. But with women, with girls, you're like, you just get mad and you take away their phone or their makeup.
Yes.
The biggest one I did was I took their door off their room. And I said, "You get no privacy. Now you can't. Now you want to change, you go in the bathroom and shut the door. But no, you have no privacy anymore. I want to see what's going on all the time." Boy, I didn't realize how big of a deal that was to girls to not have their bedroom door on their hinges. That worked out great.
Hey, a buddy of mine pulled that. God, it's probably been 15 years ago now. Calls me one day, goes, "Hey man, could I store something in your garage for a little while?" I'm like, "We ain't got a lot of space, man." I'm thinking like a race car or some shit, right? And I'm like, "Whoa, what are you talking about?" He goes, "Yeah, I took her bedroom door off." I'm like, "Yeah, fucking drive that subbitch over here, man." Because I want to see the look on her face when you unload it out of the car, out of the back of the pickup in my driveway.
There's things you learn parenting, just like everything. You fuck shit up as you go along. I remember one of the discussions I had with my kids. They were getting mad at me, and one of them said, "You know, you don't know how to be a parent." That's what they told, right in the middle of a living room yelling match, other kids listening, other kids watching. And I said, "Yeah, no shit. You didn't come with the book of instructions. Okay. You just showed up one day and I have to figure this shit out. I've never been a parent. You've never been a kid. If you'd have come with an owner's manual, I might have read it, but I'm making this shit up as I go. Of course, I don't know what I'm doing." And then I sent them off to their room. But I don't know, that was a fair explanation, I felt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I can do what I want out of your view. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on. My wife and I used to joke with each other all the time. It's like we'd sit there quietly at night and go, sooner or later, someone's going to figure out that we're raising kids and put a stop to this and go, how did you two end up with kids? No, come on, give them back. You guys don't know. No. Whoever did this, find out who let these two have kids. And come on, stop. If they didn't know us as teenagers, they'd have said, you just stop right now. You're not raising anybody.
Yeah, you obviously got the wrong ticket.
General, do you remember the sitcom from the early 90s, Dinosaurs?
Yes, the kid who said not the mama.
Yes, and
yeah.
the episode regarding a parenting license.
No, I vaguely remember the show. That was just out of, I was busy working at that point. So I remember the show, but that's about it.
Right. No, the episode ran such as this way. You had to have a parenting license to have children and parent them. So when you lost your parenting license, a member of the state came in and ran your household for you. The member of the state very quickly learned it's fucking impossible and got the hell out of there and gave them their license back.
That sounds about right. We've had that discussion before, and I think it's probably from a movie because none of anything I tell you guys, I'm making it up or I've stolen it from somewhere. I plagiarize everything from people smarter than me to movies to TV. So if you hear something familiar, don't rat me out. Just pretend it's mine and move on. But I think it was from a movie that talked about, and for some reason in my head, I picture Keanu Reeves saying this line, but he said, do you have to have a license to go fishing, to drive a car?
Yes.
You have to have a license to get married, but they'll let any asshole be a father. And that's true. That's like one of the most important jobs on our planet. And there's no regulation for that. None at all. But they'll make sure you got a fishing license before you catch fish.
Yep. Because I'll tell you, as a dad, I had some scary times. Teenage girls, and you have girls, so you know how this works. And they get through about maybe 15 or 16. They do what I affectionately call the screw you dad phase. You know, I don't need your outdated values and you're old fashioned and you don't live here. So I don't have to do this, and that. And this is what I'm going to do. And I learned from, when I was a kid and my parents were parenting me, I was like, oh, you know what? I don't have to yell and scream. I just look and go, okay, go ahead. I was trying to warn you. Help, stop, murder. I'm like Willy Wonka. Fuck it. You want to do it? Go ahead. I know what's going to happen.
That's right. I've had that discussion, and I had one daughter who was just very wild, and she would sneak out. Sometimes I'd catch her. Sometimes she'd make it. But I sat her down. I sat all the kids down one time in a circle, and I did this every now and then to make a point, but I was talking to her, but I said, I want you all to hear this. This applies to all of you, but I'm saying this to your one older sister right now. I said, when you sneak out, you put yourself at risk. So let me explain how this goes. Okay. You tell me that you're going to bed and I think you're upstairs in the bedroom, or you tell me, I'm going to go to the movies with my girlfriends, but you don't. You sneak out of that bedroom or you sneak away from the movies and you're off drag racing or doing something you're not supposed to. Let me explain how this works. When you are where you're supposed to be, when you're upstairs in your bedroom sleeping like you're supposed to, when you're at the movies with your girlfriends like you're supposed to, you are in my protection. There isn't anything I won't do to parent you, to defend you, to help you. But as soon as you disobey me, as soon as you lie to me, as soon as you sneak away and you're off in your own world, I'm not going to do shit. So let me help you out with two reasons why. Number one, you take off and you're not where you're supposed to be and you sneak out and some guy takes you out in the middle of the desert and rapes you and beats the shit out of you. You're going to come crying home and say, well, Dad, go kill that guy. He did this. Now, if I go kill that guy, I end up in jail. And I end up in jail. Now, there's 7 other children that still wanted me to be their dad. They still wanted me to be around this house, but I can't because I had to go kill this motherfucker because he hurt you. Why? Because you snuck out of your room. You just ruined everything. You ruined my life. You ruined your life. And you took a father away from these 7 kids. So from this day forward, let me explain how this is going to work with all of you. If someone breaks into my house and steals you, they're dead. If you sneak out and you end up beaten and you're in the hospital and you're laying there, as soon as you come out of your coma, I'm going to lean over and whisper and go, you shouldn't have done that. I'm going to remind you right then at your most painful moment that I'm going to use that moment to tell you I'm not going to go kill that guy. I have other kids that are depending on me. If I go to jail, who pays the bills? We lose the house. They lose and why? Because you snuck out. So you leave my circle and you're on your own. And I want you to be very aware of that. You're on your own. You're not going to call me and go, oh my God, come help me. Where are you? I'm not where I'm supposed to be. Click. And I want to tell you guys that at that moment, the sobriety that came across every child was like, holy shit, dad's out. If we're not obeying correctly, he's out. He's done. And I want to tell you, all but this one daughter, everybody else straightened up that minute. I did not have one other child sneak out of the house or not be where they were supposed to be, not one time. They realize when they need their backup, when they need that family, they better play by the rules because there's other things involved than them. The other children didn't want to. Why would it, a 5-year-old daughter of mine go, why do I lose my dad because my older sister's being a complete asshole and she's fucking up her life, and I lose my dad? I lose my house because of her? Bullshit. And once I explained it like that, every kid got it. So, and that's a very harsh explanation, of course, and I had to keep pushing myself to sound meaningful and sincere, because you never want to not defend your children ever, no matter what they've done. You want to go kill the enemy every chance you get. But I made that point, and I really believe that it corralled them emotionally and mentally. Like, we need to do our part. We need to, if dad's going to do his part, we're going to do our part. It changed things dramatically for us. So boys and girls are different, but in that situation, I found a way to lay the hammer down in such a fashion that it really took a hold of everybody. Now, I don't know if you guys agree with that or not.
You know what? I do agree with it, honestly, because I had a similar conversation with my girls. We were watching TV when they were over at my house, and we were talking, and they were teenager. My oldest was, full-blown teenager, and said, Dad, would you bail me out of jail? I looked at her, and I said, it depends. She's like, what do you mean depends? I'm your daughter. I said, no, you don't understand. I don't put my house up for anybody. That includes you two. Now, if something happens and you're in jail, the only acceptable answer to where I would bail you out is, I was walking down the street minding my own business. They said I did this. I was nowhere near it. I didn't do it. You got to convince me you didn't do anything. Otherwise,
exactly.
You're on your fucking own. I am not putting my house up for your benefits, so it's not hard to walk a straight line. It really isn't.
That's exactly right. If they came in and grabbed her out of your house, that's a whole different thing. But you, like you said, you better be able to say, I was walking down the street, minding my own business, and whatever after that, you convince me. But that better be the premise, is you were not doing anything wrong. You were behaving and acting correctly. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, because I've been in the situations where I almost went down, and it was just like, when I look back on it, I was like, I don't associate with these cats anymore. I'm too old and got too much to lose to, do some stupid shit and then wind up I'm not really doing it, because you hear the stories all the time. Hey, I took my friend to the liquor store, and this happens more than once. I was taking my friends to the liquor store. They go into the liquor store. I hear shooting. They hop in the car and say, gun it. You gun it now. You're an accessory after the fact to whatever they did. And then you're sitting there like, how the hell did this happen? It's too easy, but it's like, hey, just walk a straight line. Like when my oldest, she was out on her own for when she went to college. She tells me, oh yeah, I was over in West Hollywood at a party and I had a drink and walked outside, and the cop said, dump it out. And she wanted to be defined. She said, well, I took a swig and then I poured it out, and I looked at her. I said, why the fuck did you do that? And she's like, what do you mean? I poured it out. I said, no, you were being a smart ass by tipping it back. He said, you realize he could have arrested you. He could have arrested me for anything. Right there. Yes, he could have. I said, I'll tell you what he'll hit you with. Open container and disturbing the peace. You would have been cuffed up, thrown into the Twin Towers, because she was in L.A. County at the time. The Twin Towers, of course, and you know what the Twin Towers are.
I know where you're at.
Yeah. I said, you be over at the, Twin Towers, and it'd be a couple of days until you got out to go before a judge. Maybe they'd bounce it. Maybe they give you community service, but you're going to spend some time in jail. just because you want to be a smartass. So if I were you,
if you get pinched on a Friday night and the judge ain't ready for your arraignment till Monday sometime, you're going to be there the weekend.
Yeah, and it's LA County, so you probably won't get arraigned till Wednesday or Thursday. So enjoy. So I said, yeah, this is why you don't fuck around.
See, it's moments like this where we need a camera on the gorilla as the gorilla's head pops up. And I'm sure he will nod along with this. I don't bail. I don't ask for bail. I don't testify. It's a hat trick. And not everybody agrees with it, but it's worked for me 54 years walking this planet.
Well, I'll tell you, I've gotten a call before, and said, from kids like, you got to come get me from jail. And I say, all right. And I go upstairs and I take a shower and I grab something to eat and I thumb through the newspaper. And my wife's walking around going, what the fuck are you doing? I go, let's just take our time. He can sit down there a little while. It's good for him. She's like, what are you talking to? I said, leave him in there. But that backfired on me because it was like 10 years ago. Some guys that were working for me decided to call my wife as a joke. And they said, hey, you got to come get him. He's in jail, and they're not letting him out. You got to bring bail money. And they made up some story. And she just goes, fuck him, leave him there. And she hung up. That was it. I'm like, wait a second. So right now my wife thinks I'm in jail and I'm going to be there for a few days. And her answer was, who gives a shit? And they went, yeah, I drove straight home and kicked in the door. And she goes, oh, I see you got out of jail. I go, well, you didn't know it was a joke. You thought I was in jail. She goes, I'm not taking money down there for you. You can just sleep there for a few days. And she goes, it was good for the gooses, good for the gander. If you used to do that to the kids, why can't I do it to you? And I go, because we're a team. We're married. You're supposed to come get me. No, not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. It's like, God damn.
They didn't even set the hook on her, huh?
They didn't give her the money amount, but they told her to come get me that I needed out. And she's like, no, she just hung up on him. Leave him there. Click.
Oh, that sounds like Sherry.
Am I allowed to take drugs in your program? I got my morning medicine. I got to take them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
These stupid things. I got in trouble the other day. My doctor called on the phone, and they were changing an appointment or something. And the girl on the phone says, now, what medications you taking? And I said, don't you have a chart? And she goes, no, I want to confirm what medications you take every day. I said, I don't know. She goes, what do you mean you don't know? I said, I get up. I got this fucking old person blue pill caddy. It's got the days of the week. I open it up. I take what's in there. She goes, you don't even know what you're taking? I said, no, it's whatever you guys prescribe. My wife puts it in here and then I'm good to go. And she says, your wife could be giving you rat poison. And I said, I guess, yeah, I don't know what's in there. She goes, that is completely irresponsible. I said, look, I got so much shit to worry about. I don't fucking know what I'm taking, and if my life insurance policy's paid up, then I know she's going to put the wrong pills in there. So I make sure it's not paid. She puts the right pills in there. So at this moment, I have no life insurance. I'm pretty sure I'm getting the right pills. She did not like that answer. She was very upset that I didn't know what pills I was taking.
That's because she's a Gen Z. Calling you.
Oh yeah, she was absolutely 23 years old, just snot-nosed fucking kid. So there's 5 pills in here. I guess they're shaped and colored differently, so we're supposed to know what they are, right?
Like Flintstone chewables and shit.
Yeah, that's what's not in here. There's not a
take 2 Freds and a Betty, you'll be fine.
I knew what those were.
10 million strong and growing.
Yeah,
don't do that anymore.
All right. Rat poison is now consumed. We're good.
Your wife's looking at the calendar and the formula based on the degree of rat poison and the number of days left.
I asked her that. I go, what if you found me dying one day and I was barely alive and I was on my way out? I was dying. She goes, I'd grab a pen and make sure you signed all the paperwork you're supposed to. Well,
you guys been together a long time, huh?
What's that?
You guys been together a long time, huh?
I've known her since I was 5 years old. Went to the same school together.
Oh, wow.
Our 5th and 6th grade class pictures. We're on the bleachers. We're standing there, 2 people away from each other in the class picture.
Wow, that's amazing.
That is very cool.
No, we were not high school sweethearts. She was a cheerleader in high school and liked to date football players, and I was the leather jacket, fast car guy that used to beat up football players. So we didn't get along in high school. Her parents hated me too. They were like, "No way are you dating that guy? No way!" And so, yeah, but until after high school that she came to her senses, as I say.
Lowered her standards is what you're telling us.
Well, people ask me that. They go, "How did you get a girl like that to marry you?" And I go, "Same way we all did. I lied.
Yeah.
I promised her places she was never going to go. I promised her stuff she was never going to have. And by the time she figured it out, we were 3 kids in. It was done."
Yeah. The door was
People act
locked
like
and she
that's a
couldn't climb out
surprise.
the
I'm like,
window.
Isn't that way we all did it? What is it? Am I the only guy? Come on.
No. It's, occasionally we like hearing it from somebody else.
Well, yeah.
Oh, for God's sakes.
It's a corroboration of our defense is what that, the legal term for that, I believe.
I believe so. Yeah. There's another thing that bothers me about the way you guys are set up.
Uh-oh.
Well, I'm sitting in a wheelchair and I can walk. It's just that there's a lot of places that a wheelchair suits me better for where we're going because I'm a big fat guy. I am losing weight. I've lost 55 pounds, but I've lost 55 pounds. I'm so fucking big, nobody noticed, which really was disheartening. So, but I'm sitting in this wheelchair right now, which is not the most comfortable chair. And I'm looking at the two white guys are slumped back like Archie Bunker. And the dude in the middle is just sitting up straight. He got his shoulders back and he's leaning into the camera like he's proud to be here and paying attention to his job. And you two jabronis are sitting back there like you guys ain't got a care in the world. And I'm like, God, I wish I could relax like those fellas, but I can't. I got to sit up right now. I got to pay attention.
There you go.
I'm a guest.
Now, Scott sits upright because he's so tall that if he leans back in that chair, it flips over.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that almost happened the other night.
Yeah, we're sitting in here because we can't go to the lounge and smoke because they're in the middle of construction. So we hang out here on Thursday nights at my shop, and Scott goes to lean back in that front wheel. It's your standard office chair with a 5, diamond 5 wheel pattern. Yeah. That front wheel lifts off the ground. I'm like, bro, you lean back anymore, we're gonna be picking your dome up off this concrete floor. And he's like, what?
So is this not where you guys usually broadcast from? Do you broadcast from a cigar lounge?
Correct. Yeah, normally we're at Tobacco Republic in Loomis. They're kind enough to allow us to come in there before hours.
Far out.
But so we've had to relegate to Ugly Parrot Studios here. And
well, I don't mind the 1930s refrigeration unit. I'm good.
Yeah, we got the heat running in this son of a bitch full blast though, so.
Okay, before we go further, we have to go real quick. I'm going to leave this to you. You got to tell the story of Thursday when we went to Stogie's.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
You'll like this.
This is how shitty we are, General. So we've been talking about going down to Lodi to this cigar shop Stogie's for years. And, finally, because we can't hang out at Tobacco Republic, we're like, okay, we're getting in. We're going to motor down. Scott and I and Camera Gorilla jump in my truck, and we're motoring down from Auburn to Lodi, which is not a short drive anymore, Leave at 3 p.m. Traffic sucks. There's people everywhere. We're driving along, and we're getting down into Lodi. I'm all, Scott, man, what off ramp we getting on? Which Lodi exit? He goes, yeah, right here. Oh, it's Turner Road. Okay, so here we go. We're on Turner. We're going in. And how long's it been since you've been there? I'm like, dude, it's been like 10 years since I've been down here. Yeah, I used to come once in a while. And he's looking, and he's like, huh. It says it's like 200 yards up on the right. Huh, they must have moved. I'm like, yeah, I thought it was in an older building, one of the taller, older buildings. Yeah, me too. Okay. Oh, there it is. We see it. No place to park, We're big boys. I don't like walking very far. So we go around the block, drive by it again. Yep, that's it. Oh, shit, there's a spot open. We pull in. The 3 of us go wandering in there. Now, this should have been our first clue, but it wasn't. So we go walking up, and there's people out front smoking cigarettes. I'm like, okay, whatever. So I go in. Scott's like, hey, I'm going to hit the head. All right. So the girl and I are standing there. This guy that was outside smoking a cigarette comes walking in behind the bar. How you doing? All right, man. He goes, get you something? I go, yeah, I don't know about my buddy, but I'm going to have one of those hazy IPAs right there. All right. He starts pouring my beer. I'm looking around. I go, so Cigar's upstairs? And the look on his face, if I could have got a picture of this, he just like rolls his eyes. He's like, no, man. That's 2 blocks down across the street. And he points at the sign, and it's Stooges of Lodi. It's a fucking bar. We went to the wrong goddamn place. So he's still in the can, right? And camera girl is laughing his ass off. And I'm all, the 2 women to the left of me at the bar are laughing. They're like, oh, yeah, you can't smoke cigars here, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, the only saving grace is I was driving. My buddy was running the directions. So Scott comes out of the can. Anthony looks at him and goes, hey, man, what's that say right there? Because the logo's right on the front of the bar, right where I'm standing, right? And Scott goes, Stogies. He goes, look again. And now everybody in there's laughing, right? And Scott's looking around. He's like, what? And I'm all, wrong place, bro.
Was it a gay bar? Because that would have made the story better.
Then my statement was, damn inner city public school system.
And now everybody in the bar is falling out, right? Where they're just laughing, and we hammer each our beers, and and give the man a couple dollars tip, and he's just disgusted, because
that was a long walk for nothing. That was a long
yeah,
walk to get there.
No, that was
Wasn't even the
terrible.
right spot.
And the best part of it is we were only 2 blocks down. We got back in the truck and drove the 2 blocks. Hey, I don't fucking walk it.
Absolutely.
No shit.
At that point, I'd have been so exhausted. I'd have said, you're lucky I didn't ask the other place to move its building closer. I'm not moving. I can't do that. No fucking way.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That's funny.
When Scott's got Pop's walker,
That ain't going to happen for a very, very, very long time.
dump that bike again and find out, fucker.
Fuck you, Greg.
What happened to Scott? He fell over the stoplight.
We need to get the 3 of you into relationship counseling.
You want to see a psychologist quit their field?
Yeah.
Well, see if you can set a record. How many of them can you get to quit in a row?
Won't be difficult.
As long as they don't want payment up front. I mean, then it's like we're spending money for nothing, right? I don't feel this counseling's working very well.
I saw Goodwill Hunting. I see what happens here.
It's not your fault.
Yeah.
No, it's all their fault.
So General, I got to ask.
Yeah.
What is your cigar of choice?
I actually brought one. I don't know if you can see that or not. That is an Isla del Sol.
Contraband.
I love these. I mean, I've tried some cigars. I'm not a cigar guy like you guys are by any stretch of the imagination, but I tried a bunch over the years. And first of all, the thing that grabbed me was the box. Mm-hmm. Right on the side of the box for Isla del Sol, which I just refer to as a del Sol because I hate saying the word Isla. It says right on the side of the box, sun-blessed cigars, hand-wrapped in the laps of virgins. And immediately I was attracted to this and started smoking them. And then one of my buddies, a guy named Iceman, came up one day and he's looking at the box and he says, hand wrapped in the laps of virgins, men or women?
Okay.
I don't know. I
didn't take the discussion that far.
I was assuming women. I don't know which one. He goes, "Hey man, I'm just trying to participate in the conversation here." And you said, and I said, so it's always bothered me since then. Right? Is anytime someone asks, now I have to put in that caveat at the end that I don't know. I guess women. So yeah, but they have it's not a super tight wrap, and the leaves are just like I think they're dipped a little bit in vanilla. Is how it feels.
Oh wow!
So that it's just got just a hint of a sweet taste to it, and I kind of got stuck there. Just like with whiskeys and bourbons, I've tried every kind you can probably imagine. I've had $300 glasses of bourbon at fine restaurants, and I drink Jack Daniels. I drink Old Number 7, or I'll drink some Sinatra. It's just kind of like I've tried all these things, and I settled for just what I'm comfortable with a cigar. I've tried all these drinks. I settle with what I'm comfortable with a drink. I've tried all these women. I settled on my wife. You know, it's a pattern with me. It's really a pattern of life, and I get to where I'm comfortable. So I've got my wife, my whiskey, and my cigars. I'm good right there.
She's not in the room anymore, is she?
Yeah, she's sitting right here shaking her head. She babysits me through these things, because if I start to go off the rails, she'll throw something at me. She's come over a couple times where you can't see her and looked at your screen just to see what you jabronis look like. She does that with every guest spot I do. She tries to see, and she's not just sizing you assholes up. She's looking at your set. She's looking at your camera angles, because if something's not, if ours isn't as good, as soon as we're done, I'll say, so how did I do? And she goes, they had a really good idea. You need to change some stuff here and do it the way they're doing it every fucking time. So I'm thankful for what I'm seeing on the screen, because she's not going to complain to me at all.
I was going to say, please don't set your program by our standards.
Oh, God, please don't.
So what he just said was, we're shitty enough he doesn't have to do any work afterwards.
I'm going to be okay, boys. I really want to thank you. If I'm going to raise a glass, it's going to be to you three, going, thank God I don't have to revamp my system, because she's made me tear stuff down and start over going, no, you're not right. You need to change. She's also leaned in. I did a guest spot on 21 Gun podcast, and those guys, they actually make a living off their podcast. They make enough money behind a paywall that they make a living at it. So they're obviously way better than we're ever going to be. And she has, I've done 6 of them guest spots on theirs. She's leaned in before and going, Kevin, your set really is not very professional for what you're trying to portray. You need to change some of that. And I had to apologize. I had to say my wife's not on her medication. I've said all those things. I'll be goddamn, the very next show I was on, he changed his entire set. The whole thing was revamped. His background, his cameras, his microphones. I was like, you did not fall for that shit. He goes, I had to change it. She was right. She was right. I go, no, don't tell her she's right. Never tell my wife she's right about anything, ever. So, yeah, you just be thankful she hasn't decided to lean in. Right now, she's just looking over my shoulder.
All right. Duly noted, sir.
Well, we can't say much because our wives like watch and listen to the podcast, and then they have their interjections, which is always fun.
Oh yeah, it's like, don't you love it when you're doing a podcast and you got a wife who's backseat podcasting? She's Monday morning quarterbacking everything you say. You're like, you weren't there, you were just listening. You don't know what this is like. You sit down and run an episode. You can talk.
Mine critiques the stories. She'll be halfway through the podcast and go, that's not how that happened. I'm like, I was there. I know how the fuck it happened. It's funnier the way I tell it.
Well, I used to get beat up like that early on in our marriage, whether I'm sitting around a barbecue, sitting around a campfire, sitting around a bar, or now live streamer podcast. And thanks to Wyatt Earp, I now have a way out of any criticism ever. And I'll pass this along. You get this one for free, boys. You get this one for free. When you're done telling a big story, you just do the same thing Wyatt Earp used to do. You grab your cigar and you say, and that's the way I remember it, give or take a lie or two.
I like it.
That works.
That's it. I stole that from Wyatt Earp, and no one has ever questioned a story ever again, because they know I'm going to say, well, maybe that was the lie or two. We'll just continue on with our day. That's the way I end every big story now, and it's worked flawlessly for 20 years.
Well, my tiny wife, she is a fan of the gorilla. When he first came aboard and started talking, my wife told me, she says, I really like that Anthony's there. He's great. He's funny as hell.
I think the greatest one so far was our Christmas episode when he says, my ass is a foot too low and I can't reach the board. And I'm sitting on the recording, sitting in that room with the recording. And then I go through, after each show, and Camera Gorilla works his magic. And then I'm watching it again. When I'm laughing my ass off because this is funny, I'm like, obviously we are doing something right.
Let's say,
if
the general's wife is listening and God forbid, watches this episode later, I think we might need to up the editing budget for this episode. Just saying.
You're going to have to
Wow.
up it anyway because
What a
of us.
shameless plug for money.
Well, you're going to go ahead, Scott. Go right ahead.
You're going to have to up the editing on this episode anyway, and you'll find out at the end why. Because I'm a dumb shit.
I knew immediately when you started reaching your computer, I'm like, this is going to be fun. I saw a look of concern, and you lean forward and start pressing buttons. I'm like, I'm going to have to look for a lot of images for this one, I think.
Yes, you are, sir.
I hope you pressed record on the soundboard over there.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Gorilla.
Okay. This is why we have a gorilla.
We'll talk afterward and see how fucked I am.
Needless to
Hey,
say,
you know-
very.
They should pay you for editing by like $5 every edit. I bet they tighten up their game. If they had to pay you by $5 an edit,
Whoa,
they'd
whoa,
tighten
whoa,
up
whoa!
their
Pump the brakes, sir.
So, based on what just happened in the last 3 seconds, which one pays me?
Whoever's got the money, that's what my kids do. They go to whoever they think's got the money. It doesn't matter personality. You just got to, who's never got a wallet that day.
All my money's in RV futures.
Yes, it is.
Jesus.
It's in an RV's future. It's not multiple.
And
Yeah.
mine's in Last Czar futures.
And sex dolls.
What's Last Czar?
So
It's a cigar.
There's a cigar brand out there called Cadwell Cigars.
Yeah.
They had a very the factory that rolls their cigars is the Adventura factory out of the DR. It caught fire about 6 months ago. They lost 2 million total cigars between the 4 brands that were there. They lost in the Last Czar case, all the magic leaf that makes it unique was burned. So everything they had in stock in the U.S. and the world in retail shops was it. It is now officially discontinued. So I basically have 22 boxes of this cigar in my house now because I like it so much. I was fucking people royally on a site called Cigar Bid. I'd wait to the last 10 seconds of the auction, fire my bid in there, and just buy boxes at a time. So, yeah,
How
needless
long
to
do
say,
cigars keep if you keep them in a humidor and do everything you can? How long can you keep one?
indefinitely.
Forever.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
There are cigars. There's a shop in Piccadilly Circus in London that has, when Winston Churchill died, stop looking negatively. This is actually, we're not talking about the
Yeah,
Queen.
spit it out.
They have all his cigars in a humidor from when he died in 56. No, 60-something, whenever it was he passed away. So those cigars are pushing, 80 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got stuff in my humidor at the house that's 15 years old, 18 years old.
Me too.
So, yeah, it's just, as long as the humidification's right, you're good.
I don't think I have anything that old anymore.
No, we smoked them all.
Yeah, pretty much. I think the oldest cigar in my humidor is probably about 2 years old.
Now, General, getting your cigar of choice is going to become increasingly difficult as they'll likely not be banned under the flavor ban, but they'll become more expensive. But fortunately, now 3 lunatics that are 90 miles away from Reno.
That's right. Yeah. Absolutely. Don't think I won't call on that favor and pretend that you owe me just to whore you out for a drive to Reno too. Yeah, I will be happy to do that.
Oh, hell yes.
We don't whore out for anything. You can just say, "Hey, I need a favor," and you got it.
Hey, speak for yourself.
I mean, the fact
You in the favor business now?
if
You're
necessary,
no fun,
yes.
Greg. You're no fun at all.
Just call me Lucifer.
He's heard he's no fun his whole life.
I know. It's just the way it is.
Christ.
Where does he work with the public? He's got a Harley Davidson color. He's got Harley colors on.
He can't tell.
I can't tell,
Oh,
but yes, it's a major retailer.
so you sell ice cream to children out of a truck. Okay.
Not
Well,
quite.
I'm just guessing.
Have I said I love this guy already?
I know. He fits in with the group perfectly well.
Yeah. Oh, God.
In fact, one night at the lounge, he'd be hilarious to have in there. I can't think how many people would leave.
Yeah, all of them. You want to, like I said, you want to lower your ratings, bring me on your show. You're going to say, okay, see what happens when we act this way? We need to stick with our program here.
This is our program. What are you talking about?
Okay, you guys do something called Gen X Slices, and I was watching it the other day, and it had me on the floor dying because someone brought it upon themselves to critique you on the style in which you convey information, and you just went off, and I'm just like on the floor laughing my ass off.
You got to
I
send
was
that one to
drunk.
me.
I'm sorry, I was drunk.
Don't
I was
apologize.
drinking. That happens every so often where I'm drinking on the show and I'm feeling good, feeling no pain. And then all of a sudden some asshole will come on there and say something like, your parenting style sucks, and they're only watching 1 minute videos and they're judging me on my parenting style, you dumbass motherfucker. Or one guy, the one that set it all off, I was really drunk one night. We're probably at the tail end of a 3-hour show. And I'll just keep talking until someone pulls the fucking plug out from under me. Until my computer gets unplugged, I keep going. So we're probably at 2 hours and 2.5 hours, maybe 3 hours in. And some do, in YouTube, when you're doing that, sometimes people will give you super chats. They'll give you $5 or $10, and it comes up, in a color, and it's special because they donated money. So I try to read as many comments as I can, but especially if someone gives you a few bucks, you want to say their name and read their comment and reply to whatever they said. So I was trying to do that like I always do. Some guy, Robert Jones, that's how much it sticks in my fucking head. Robert Jones writes, he goes, well, I caught his comment. He goes, that's it. I'm tired of writing a comment and you're not listening. I guess the only way you'll reply to someone's comment is if they give you money. Now I saw that and I stopped the program. I stopped the live stream. I said, okay, hold on. You guys, Robert Jones just said this. It's not the way I behave. I'm trying to read comments. There's just so many. Obviously, I can't get to them all. But clearly he's upset because let me scroll back. Everybody, let's just stop what we're doing. And I scrolled back in the comments. I'm scrolling back. And I told people, I said, let me look right here. Let me look back and try. And I found it. I said, okay, there's this comment. Now, hold on. Let's just settle in. Let me handle this. Let me apologize for missing your comment, Robert Jones. And his question was, do you believe fathers should have to pay child support? I lost my fucking mind. I go, that was your question? You pile of shit. You fucking stopped my live stream to ask my opinion on child support. You fucking shamed me into going backwards for 15 minutes to look for your fucking comment. And it's you didn't ask me about saving the planet. You didn't ask me a political question. You didn't ask me about parenting. You didn't sit here and say you were about to commit suicide. You had a gun to your head and you needed me to save you. No. You asked me about child support, you dumbass motherfucking piece of shit, milky lip and rope sucking fruity ass ding dong. Why the fuck am? And I lost my fucking mind over such a stupid thing. I go, that was your important question? You stop all of us where we have to rewind our lives for this? I mean, that was one of the first ones. It's on there. The kid's got it up as a slice, the Robert Jones slice. Some people's fucking kids, man. You just stop and you say, oh, well, you're not going to talk about, Michelin radial tires. Then I'm out of here. I'm leaving. We're talking. You didn't even answer my question about Michelin tires. Fuck. Dumbass comment. I don't know. See, you guys don't have to deal with that kind of stupid shit. I do. At least that's the slice you're referring to, those two, because there's way weirder slices out there.
That was one of the two. It was the one that was criticizing your parenting style, being an asshole to your kids or something all the time. Yeah. And I laughed when I heard it because I happened to see one when your son was heading out to, I think it was Indiana for FFA. And, that was cool. I mean, you gave him the support, but that's what a dad does. You knock them in line, but when they need support, you give them support. It's not like you're an asshole all the time.
No. Yeah, you can't just scream at your kids 24 hours a day. You have to balance out some stuff. Just most of his ambush videos are, they're one-sided. Yeah. But that's the reaction he's looking for.
Exactly.
But every now and then, he put together a slice last month, I think it was, where he went and found, it was that video, that the goodbye video.
Yeah.
And he found two more just like it, two more very similar, where that I was giving him some very tender advice, going, well, you know, you got to be careful about this, or telling him so. He put those together, and he even he does a little intro monologue where he says, I know you guys think my dad's an asshole all the time, but here's 3 videos that show, you know, a different side. And he put that slice actually did pretty well, you know, considering, you know, the numbers we normally generate. That one had a lot of good comments, because people don't see that. You'd have to to find those 3 videos in 260. You'd never find them. So he put them together to do just that. So yeah, it's that goodbye video with a couple more, and he did it just for the very reason you're saying. You don't see it all the time. You just think that it's always ambush and screaming. So yeah, there's some stuff out there.
Well, you know, sometimes you just got to let them put a penny in a light socket too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. For sure, yeah.
It's like,
yeah,
that hurt like a son of a bitch, huh? Don't do that again.
Yeah, the greatest thing was when my oldest finally went out on her own, and she'd start talking to me. It's like 2 moments like really shine out to me. I picked her up from the airport when she was staying in London for a while, and I'm taking her over to her mom's because she was going to stay over there. And on the way home, she says, I have to tell you something, Dad. And I'm like, what's that, sweetie? She said, you know, I really appreciate all those lessons that you tried to teach me when I was a kid, when I thought you were just like being an asshole or being unfair. And it's like, now I actually get it. And she's like, yeah, it's like all that stuff clicked with me. Because I remember a time when she first moved out on her own, she was in Hollywood watching a movie. And I used to always be on her as a teenager as like, do not call me to pick you up from somewhere unless that was the plan. It's like, how do you go out and not have a plan on how you're getting home? That's just stupid.
Right.
So, you know, I did it, you know, once or twice when she'd call me, I'd be in the middle of something. It's like, well, I need to be picked up from here. Well, where's your mother? Oh, well, she's asleep. Okay, then wake her up. And I said, what was your plan? I was like, okay, I'll come pick you up. And then I finally started saying, hey, I'm out doing something. I can't just up and come pick you up. And of course, I'm an asshole. So, you know, now it's, you know, college time. She's out at a movie in Hollywood. The movie lets out at 1. The person who was supposed to pick her up flaked on her, or I don't know the story. So she tells me the story and said, well, I had to hang out at the theater until they closed. Then I had to wait till like 5 o'clock till the buses started running again for me to get home. So I'm wandering the street. And I remember what you used to tell me. And it kind of clicked and said, oh, this is why he said shit like this.
Those are the moments you live for as a parent. You endure all that stuff so that you can get some vindication from your kids later on going, holy shit, you weren't as dumb as I made you out to be. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I told her about guys and how it works. As the lesson I taught her, affectionately, I call the pimping game. This is what a dude's going to tell you to get you to do this, this, and this. Dad, yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. It's like, okay. It's like, you go ahead and assume that. Then they become an adult.
And then they come home and go, holy shit, everything you told me, this guy just said.
Yeah.
He just said the exact same words.
Like, yeah, because I was 19 once too, you dumbass.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
the world we live in.
Right.
One of my favorite videos, General, that speaks to me under a different connotation, because I lived your view. I'm not sports oriented, obviously, as you can tell, but I did a lot of volunteer work starting in high school from a community service project with Little League, running their tournaments, helping them do the audio and all this different things that they did. And it was when your son brought home a participation ribbon.
Yes.
And I'm just sitting here going, holy fuck, this guy absolutely gets why we're in this spot we're in right now, because that literally was my life. It's like these kids just got their ass beat, you know, with the 10-run rule in a tournament, and they're getting a participation trophy. When are they going to learn that this world revolves around winners and losers? You have to be one or the other, and you have to be able to accept the fact that sometimes you lose.
Yeah, you don't get shit. You lost. Go home. Try again next year.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. But losing's educational. It tells you a couple of things. One, you suck. You need to get better. Or this ain't for you. You need to find something else you're good at.
Well, and they always talk about when I get into arguments, and believe me, can you imagine with this last group of 8 kids, how many baseball games we've sat through, how many basketball games, track and field. We're out there. We're in the stands with the parents times 8 kids. So we've had our fair share of these discussions, or I have. And, you know, people say, well, it's important for them to get a participation ribbon so they can remember they have a memorabilia that they participate, that they were here. I go, you know, we called that in Generation X was a fucking team picture.
Yeah.
You got
Yes,
a
I
team
was
picture
about
for
to
your
say.
baseball team. There's your proof that you were there. There's your proof you participated. You got a team picture and the little individual ones you swing in the bat. That was it. You don't need a ribbon. I don't need a little trophy that says congratulations, you showed up.
Yeah.
No, that's it. That's why I thought of it anyway. What do I know?
Clearly a lot. Your advice is very sound.
Well, yeah. I remember when people thought I was a horrible human being once when my youngest, she was playing volleyball. So I went to a game just like a dutiful father does. And I watched her. She wasn't even fucking trying. And I just looked and I was just kind of like, huh, okay. And so I didn't show up to the next one. So I get an earful from my ex-wife. It's like how upset she was that I didn't go. I said, I'll take care of this. I sat her down and talked to her. I said, this is the reason why I didn't go. You're not even trying. You're just standing there. You know, it's like, that's a waste of my time. I don't care if you, I said, don't get all upset thinking that, okay, just because I'm not good at it, I'm not here. I said, no. If you sucked, I'd have been there because you're trying. You got to
signed up for that team. You made a commitment. You finish out the season. You finish the practices. You don't lay down. You go. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm with you on that.
You freaking try. And I said, I'll go to your next one. Prove to me that you're trying.
Yep.
You know, and sure enough, I went there and some people said, well, you pushed her into, no, that's bullshit. I said, because people thought I was mean, I said, no, I will not waste my time. Don't make me waste my fucking time. That's my whole point. And you shouldn't put up with anybody. And I told my kids, you shouldn't put up with someone who doesn't fucking try.
Yep.
You know?
Absolutely. We got that way. That carried on into college when kids said, Dad, can you pay for my college? And I said, yeah, if you get A's and B's. Mm-hmm. If you're going to get D's and F's, that means you're not really interested in college, and I'm not really interested in paying for it.
Well, yeah.
So you got to try. And that just is sports and college and everything. Put you forth your effort. I used to tell my kids, I said, if you can focus on one thing when you get out in the workforce, one thing that will serve you well, make it when you leave that job, whatever it is. If you're working at McDonald's, be the best burger flipper, the best guy who mops and dumps trash. Be the best one. Make it when you leave that job, whatever it is that they miss you. Make it when you go, look, I got to go. I'm doing some other stuff. And your manager at McDonald's goes, God damn, I'm going to be sorry to see that guy go.
Yep.
That was a great, that guy worked. That's what you want. I don't care what job it is you're doing. I don't know if your job on the football team is to bring everybody water. Be better than the other water guys, no matter what. Just do it the best you can, so people will miss you when you're gone. Put forth the effort. And it's obviously the same with sports. Just go do it. Go try. Say, well, that guy wasn't very good, but goddamn, he was like Rudy.
Yeah.
He didn't quit.
Exactly.
Just try as hard as you can. That's all.
Yeah.
You guys are getting me I'm getting all worked up, and I haven't had my heart medication yet.
Oh,
Well, you just took a whole doggy bag full of pills, man.
I know, but I don't think that one was in there.
Well, you don't really know, do you?
I don't know.
You got to look over to your right, honey. Was my heart pill in that? Was it in Sunday's box?
She gives me weird concoctions too. Like if I'm doing a live stream of my own, or I'm guesting and I'm sitting here like, yeah, you guys, yeah, it was good like that. Yeah. She comes over and she'll palm one of these into my hand, and she'll go,
Yes.
Come on now, get your shit together. And then if I'm sitting here and I'm talking and I won't shut the fuck up and I'm running out of air, the little message will come up on my screen, hydrate. And I got to stop and drink water. So I don't know what she does when the veins start popping out in my head, though. Honey, do I get blood pressure medication, or when I'm starting to strain a little bit, what do I get? What do you give me for that? That's my fault. She goes, you took your pills. You're fucked. That's it. That's all you get.
please tell me she has a set of headphones and can hear us.
She can hear you because there's a speaker on my Mac, and I'm using the Mac camera, but I'm using this mic. She can. Here she comes. Go ahead, stick your face in here.
There we go.
Yeah.
Drug her in.
There she
Hey!
is. Hey there.
She's like, man, they're
lecturing me from
uglier
the
than I
side."
anticipated.
Told you. She's right. She's right here. Half the shit you guys were saying, she's shaking her head and going, dumbass men, all of us.
Yeah.
She tells a story. She'll tell all of our daughters, she goes, listen to me. Men stop maturing at 12. You wait. Sooner or later, your husband will act like he's 12 years old again. They fake it that they're grown-ups and they do, but then their 12-year-old comes out and they start doing shit. That's one of those situations. Hold my beer. That's them being 12. That's what she'll tell my daughters.
She's right.
Yeah, I was going to say, she ain't wrong.
The funny part about that is with Tiny Wife, it's like I'll call her and she's like, what? I'm like, I need an adult.
That reminds me of one of those ambush videos. The kid comes in and he goes, you got to sign something for a field trip or something. I go, why are you having me sign it? And he goes, because mom's not here. And I said, okay, so where do you want me to sign it? And I said, right here where it says parent signature. He goes, yeah, you'll do. I about lost my goddamn mind.
Where is the kid this morning?
I think I saw him. Are you here? He's in the couch over here. I'm looking through into the next room. There's little arch ladies.
He's still asleep.
He's on the couch covered up. He's listening, but
Oh,
he's-
Jesus. No, man, ask me. I had one, God, it's been years ago, but with 3 boys, shit goes sideways every once in a while. And I tell the story, you get home, you pull in the driveway, you open your garage, and if you have sons and it smells like bleach, be concerned because they ain't cleaning shit.
no, they're covering shit up.
These fuckers were making chlorine bombs.
Yeah, my kids, what I don't like is when they pay attention. They all lean towards the TV a little closer when CSI is on, like they're learning some tricks of the trade. They're like, don't pay attention to that shit. They're like, no. This is, if it fools the cops, it'll fool you, Dad. And they lean in a little closer and they're paying attention.
Yeah.
So I can sympathize with that. When my grandfather was a retired detective for Santa Clara County, and when he would talk, now granted, he retired in 81 when I was conceived because he had a heart attack, but he would sit and tell us stories.
Weird thing to put together: conception and a heart attack from your grandfather.
That
made me very confused right there.
Thank you.
for 1
Grandpa
second.
was so concerned that they were having children, he fucking had a stroke.
No,
That's
so-
what I got out of that.
Conception and a heart attack.
His second
Those things don't go together.
his second heart attack was when I was still in the
Utero?
womb, in the butt, in the
In
oven.
the butt?
Well, I'm a shithead. What do you
I
expect?
have questions for Chris.
The gorilla just
done
walked
here.
off. Hey, we lost him.
Gorilla,
There he
come
is.
back.
So when I was a bun in the oven,
What are these guys talking about?
so he has his second heart attack, right? Well,
In the
anyway,
butt. Got it.
needless to say, he retires, and he would tell us stories about different cases that he had and what they would do to try and get around the cops. So it was kind of like, I got to pay attention to some of this shit.
I need a second.
So did they? I'm just asking because I'm not real sure. Did they? They didn't have Sesame Street when you were growing up.
Believe it or not, my favorite was Mr. Rogers.
Did you? But you didn't watch Sesame Street.
No,
You
I
didn't-
did not.
That explains a lot because there was part of Sesame Street with Generation X where they put up 4 pictures and they said 3 of these things are not like the other. One of these things does not belong. Little song that goes in there, and there's things that go together, and there's one over here that doesn't belong. And as a kid, you had to learn what didn't belong. So when you're saying grandpa, heart attack, conception, and butt, you would have already known one of these things doesn't go there. You would have learned that from Sesame Street had you actually been Gen X. There was a song about that.
You
I'll send
failed.
you a link.
Back to Millennial Land you go.
Whatever.
Hey, here's a kid.
Okay, Stooges.
Here, get over here. Stick your face in.
Yeah, I know how to.
All right.
There he
There's
is.
the kid.
Hey!
Hey.
Yeah, he's like, holy Christ, there's 3 more of them.
You're the only guy without a drink. No,
Yeah.
he's drinking coffee, but I think he's got whiskey in it.
I drink.
And-
I don't drink, so I'm the non-drinker on the show.
And Scott's holding back right now because I learned in the beginning of the show he's trying to quit everything in life all at once.
Which one's Scott?
Oh, in the middle right here.
The black guy.
Okay.
He's also the guy you can't hear because they racially profile and turn his microphone down. He turned his mic down. It's like, we don't need to hear you. You're just here for aesthetic purposes only. So, Jesus Christ, turn him up where I can hear him.
I need to round it out. You know?
Plus,
Why am I here?
That's
His
right.
mom came over and was like, "Hey, you need to head over." I'm sitting on the couch watching TV. I'm having a great time.
Nobody needs you over
I'm
here.
having a great.
Your mother's just making you come over here. You're actually pissing me off right now.
Yeah.
Hey, here, see that gorilla?
I'm
He's
just
got one of
here to
you.
say hi.
Get the fuck out of here is all I'm trying to
I
tell
was
you.
invited here.
Not by me, you weren't.
Here.
They didn't ask
I
you
get told
here.
to come here. They
I
said,
Technically,
didn't
we
ask
did
you
ask
here.
where the
Kinda,
kid
we-
was.
Put you here. Your mother did
Why did he
it.
coming over here?
Excuse me, honey. Get him the fuck out of here. You brought him in. You take him out right now.
She's security. Security.
She's something. She's
Make another one
irritating
look
me
just like you.
You fucking pissed me off. God damn it. I was doing just fine
It's like
talking with
looking
my
in a
friends, so you got
goddamn mirror.
involved.
What was that, gorilla?
It's like looking in a goddamn mirror. I swear to God, that exact same argument has happened in my life.
Gorilla is trying to like quell down the response to go like, "Daddy."
On a completely unrelated note, I have been secretly muting Scott randomly just for the fun of it. Ever since he pointed that out.
Always trying to keep the black man down. Story of my life.
God
Sorry, we
damn
didn't
those
get that.
oppressive assholes.
Yeah, my Gen Z who thinks everything should be equal is now muting the black guy on the program.
And see, we're like about maybe 20 times meaner when we don't have a recorder in front of our face.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
To the
Yeah,
point
you got
where
it.
poor
Very
Larry's
reserved.
Half the time, my wife will be listening to the podcast and just look at me and go, "You can't say shit like that." I'm like,
Hey,
"What?"
I don't think there's anything off limits on your guys' podcast if we have a door-to-door ice cream salesman who sells ice cream to children out of a truck whose grandpa had a heart attack in the butt. I don't think anything's off limits anymore. I think you guys have covered it all.
You did this to yourself.
Whatever.
Oh God!
Makes for a great show. What do you
the
want?
the fact that he can condense that into an understandable explanation where people are going to be listening to this or watching the YouTube going, "The fuck?"
There's your intro right there.
Yeah,
There's
it's
your-
like-
there's your hook.
Yeah, it's like, God, now everybody, Greg makes sense to our listening audience now.
Bumper.
Wow. Needless to say, he's colorblind, and but well, yeah.
Well, listen, guys, I do got to run. I hope I didn't ruin your show.
No,
no, man,
please.
this is
This is
amazing.
terrific, man.
And an open invitation anytime you
Yeah,
want.
you got something you guys want to talk about, want to bring up? Just reach out to us, man. We'd love
No
to talk
doubt.
to you again.
Well, just by the topics you guys have brought up, I'm afraid I'm going to have to do some research because there's some things I don't understand. But I'll work on that. I'll try to get there from here, so I'm an educated man the next time I show up.
Well, hey, now do you have a
Just fine.
humidor? Are you humidifying your cigars?
Just not a. It's just a small one. Like it's not portable, but it's small. It's not a. You guys probably have rooms you walk into. I don't have that.
Not quite, but we're getting there.
We're getting there.
Hey, we're gonna send you down a care package of some stuff, man.
Far out. I tell you what, if you ever want me to ruin the ratings on your show again, all you got to do is email Gen X Mom the way you did before. She schedules all of the stuff that I do. She literally woke me up at 6 a.m. She goes, "You got 90 minutes." I go, "For what?" She goes, "The podcast." I go, "What am I doing?" They go, "Talking about cigars and whiskey." I go, "Can I actually have cigars and whiskey?" She goes, "No, it's too early." I said, "Well, then why am I doing it? Let's do it at night." So she schedules and tells me what I'm doing. And sometimes she'll sit me down and go, "Okay, you got 5 minutes, prep." And then I got to go on and try to be clever and witty and funny and conversationalist, which I have none of those things even remotely rehearsed. I'm flying blind with you guys. So,
Well,
but I'm glad to be here. I'm glad that it worked out. If you guys want, you're not too far away.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
wouldn't mind driving up there. We could do that thing if you guys do your podcast from that cigar room. I wouldn't mind doing that.
Hell
We could.
We can also drive your direction too. Not a big deal either.
As soon as I get the backyard done, and I'm hoping to have it done where we can do some of these this year. We have we're putting in a studio, and I say that we're building a studio. You guys know what a tough shed is?
Yes, we do.
Okay, we're getting a tough shed, but it sounds better when you say, well, we're installing a studio. No, they're dropping off a tough shed and we're going to wire it up. So, but we're actually putting in a decent studio out back, and our backyard used to be very beautiful for entertaining. We've had concerts out there before with bands. I mean, it can hold 200 people. There's green grass and there's a big barbecue to set it. It's been trashed the last 3 years because of illness with me mostly. And now we're trying to get it back to where we'd enjoy having people over. But as soon as it's done, and it's not that far away, my son and I did a lot before winter set in. As soon as it's done, we're going to have people down for campfires, barbecues, sit outside. There's a TV, watch the Dodger game, and have a cigar and hang out and have a steak, stuff like that.
All right.
Right on. I love it.
We're in.
Yes.
Well, to be fair, I'm only inviting 2 of you, but I won't say which 2. Just got to be clear on that.
Sorry, Scott.
No black folks in Bakersfield. Huh?
Yeah, we're not talking about the ice cream guy. Clearly, you went right for the racial one.
We do that all the time. That's what we do.
Hey, you hit the softball when you hit the softball. You know what I'm saying? Well, hey, man, I appreciate you coming on and putting up with our bullshit.
It was my pleasure. It was a lot of fun, you guys. Thanks for having me.
All right.
Thank you.
Absolutely. You guys take care, and we'll definitely be in touch.
All right. We'll catch you guys on the flip side.
All right.
See you later, man.
See you later, General. Woohoo! Man, that was fun.
That was a blast.
That was quite a ride. Look at Gorilla still in shock.
For so many reasons.
I'm terrified what technical difficulties you're going to tell me about in about 3 minutes.
Post show.
So real quick, let's talk about our cigars for a couple of minutes because we didn't get a chance to do that. Larry, how's that house stick from Stogie's working out for you?
Flavor is very nice. It's kind of dark, woodsy kind of flavor to it. The draw is a little tight. I've had to relight it a couple times, but that goes along with talking and not smoking. But it's work to get it to draw a little bit. So I'm thinking maybe that the other one I'll leave in the humidor for a little while and see if it softens up a little bit. It's a little hard to the touch, but overall I like the flavor of it. It's a Sinestro product, so I was expecting a decent cigar from the get-go, and it hasn't disappointed.
Okay.
And I know you started a new one, Scott, but that Yellowstone, what was your thoughts?
You know what? When I was talking to Gorilla about it, and I think he's absolutely right. It starts off a little muted, then you get creamy, and then you get the spice near the end. It's a good combination, though.
And see, the hard part for me was coming out of being sick. When I smoked mine, I couldn't really taste it all that well, so I'm flying blind on that. But I enjoyed it nonetheless, and I think it was a good stick. And for me, a Partagas, I've only ever smoked one Cuban Partagas, and it was a gift from one of our fellow shop members. So I've
smoked a Partagas more than that.
Oh, you're right. I have. I smoked a Series D from your humidor. So yes, I have smoked a couple of them. These non-Cuban ones, they're certainly not the $50 stick that the others are now. But it is a great stick. It's got great flavors. This one's got, and mind you, still recovering from being sick, but I get a pepper forward, and that's about all I get because that's pretty much where my taste buds are. If it's not a strong flavor, I'm not going to taste it right now.
Yeah.
But these are great, especially at $10 a stick, depending on where you find them.
Gotcha.
It's a great Partagas to smoke. So, it's one I recommend you check out, the Partagas Natural.
Right on. Hey, Gorilla, you smoking anything this tour?
Negative.
What? Why not?
You got up early and didn't
I
get
haven't
breakfast.
eaten since 8 p.m. yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Actually, more like 4. but-
You're one of those types of cigar smokers. Pragmatic.
No, he's a genius.
I don't want to feel like shit for the next 12 hours.
Again, pragmatic.
Mm-hmm.
I just got to emphasize that was a fun fucking ride.
That was a blast. Everything I expected
That dude's
was
a-
exactly
he's a
right.
crack up, man.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We definitely had to make a trip to Bakersfield.
Yes,
and
and
we drive up or go the Scotty Robinson experience.
And once the lounge opens up here, we got to get him up here to hang out with us. Definitely.
no doubt.
No, that was a blast.
Yeah.
It took a little work back and forth finding a date that worked for everybody, but man, I'm glad that came in and that was cool.
Yeah, my idea for the next one, we bring them aboard, since we have some flexibility now, we do it like on a weeknight, drinking night.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Get you some root beer, get Gorilla Dr. Pepper. Larry and I will cover you guys.
Good.
Wow. That's like a wrap it up kind of thing,
That's
isn't
an Oscar wrap up.
it? Yeah, it is. Well, it's actually truth be told, because the cigar is down to the nub and my drink, hold on. Glug, 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 glug. I am not going to glug that, but it's practically empty, so I think it's about that time. I want to thank the General, his wife, and son over at Gen X Talks. If you haven't checked them out, definitely do that. It is a great treat. And on behalf of Greg, the Gorilla, Larry, and myself, thank you for listening. Check us out at limitcigarcartel.com. Like and share us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. Hey, don't be a stranger. Let us know you're out there. I'm Scott Robinson, and on behalf of all of us here at Beyond the Humidor, we look forward to chatting with you on the next episode. But until then, stay healthy and safe, and good drink, good smoke, and good life. Cheers.